a baptism of fire for Carrick in his first game in charge.
Mhm.
You couldn't have two more difficult games. Obviously, next week we'll talk more in depth about the Arsenal game. But it's the two most difficult games that he could have in the Premier League. But you have to see it as an opportunity to try and get something.
Mhm.
Is there an expectation that he's going to get anything from these next two games?
No, no.
What I would say about the City game is
It's big.
because they had the three draws. Obviously, I know they beat Newcastle in the League Cup,
Yeah.
but because of the three draws, you, if we could steal a draw, I think that people will be happy with that. He is the
And it's
sole
beautiful.
reason why they haven't won anything, and then these people have the audacity to put him in conversations that he doesn't need to be in. The pyramid pennant, this guy, bro. There's a reason why Jamie Carragher has said he's not won an Afcon, and he's never going to win an Afcon, bro. Your country were serial winners of AFCON. This guy
Seven
came
times.
along and messed it all up, and they haven't won it since he's been playing. Bro, take this guy out of these conversations with the Didier Drogba's, the Samuel Eto's, the Yaya Torres. He doesn't belong in them, bro. Doesn't belong in them,
I
bro.
don't care who you are, just because you think that you're bigger than the manager, you've won so many things. Let's be real. Xabi Alonso's won the Champions League. Mbappe, you haven't won the Champions League. I don't care what you're saying.
Bro, it's
Like,
mad to think that. It's mad to think that. Obviously, I saw the stat about this is the 10th manager that's been sacked under
yeah, it's
Mbappe.
crazy.
Like 10
Yeah,
managers in 10 seasons. Like, bro, at what point are we going to say that this
start
guy is
blaming him.
a problem? You've come
He
into
is,
Real Madrid, and as an individual, your stats are great. Your stats are great as an individual, but
but it's
what have you
taken away
won?
from the team, and it's
What
taken
have you
away from the
won?
team.
Because since you've come, you've looked great. Vinicius has looked worse. Bellingham has looked worse. Valverde's looked worse. Rodrigo's looked worse. So it's great for you, but your teammates have all looked worse. And
Spartans! What is your profession?
yes, people, another edition of Nights of the Roundtable Discussions where we discuss all sports all the time. Got my guy ST in the building. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm so happy. You know what? As you can tell, listen, I'm petty. I'm so happy. The man in my display picture, um, a fellow Ghanaian, helped send out those super pelicans, those super flamingos, those super emus, those super ostriches out of there. Also, I can see from your display pic that I can see that distinguished gentleman, the best player at Liverpool, the best African player at Liverpool, not that other pyramid pennant, that fraud, that waste man, that anyway, no, you know what? I'm well. Nice to see everyone, our 10 fans, as you can see, we're in a very good mood. I'm happy to
Listen,
be here.
listen. It's happy days as far as I'm concerned. Uh, AFCON has been thoroughly entertaining. We're going to get into it as well later on in the show. AFCON has been very thoroughly entertaining. Obviously, people that are just watching this from the beginning, don't forget AFCON final is on Sunday. I think kickoff is 7 o'clock. Senegal versus Morocco. So make sure you
Not
tune
Nigeria,
in.
but not Nigeria versus Egypt.
Yep, not Nigeria versus Egypt. So make sure you tune into that. But we're going to get into our AFCON preview a little bit later on in the show. But yes, Footie Chat is back. There has been a lot that has gone on since we were on last week. Obviously, the transfer window is open. A lot has transpired since we were here the last time. People, so we're going to be going through everything that's gone on this past week. Obviously, looking ahead to the big game of the weekend, the Manchester Derby, and talking about all things going on in the football world currently. But as usual, before we start, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get the likes up, get the subscriptions up. What I say all the time, share, share, share. We are here, and don't forget to join our social media pages as well. Links are in the description. ST obviously start off with obviously Man United. Michael Carrick has been appointed. He's been appointed as the interim manager till the end of the season.
Mhm.
Obviously, taking over from Darren Fletcher, who had a couple of games in charge, but Carrick has signed the contract now. He is the interim, taking over from Fletcher. Obviously, Fletcher drew with Burnley in the league, and then we got kicked out of the FA Cup, which I mean, the biggest joke is ST is that I think you and I both knew even before all of this when Amarim was here that the minute we saw Brighton come out the hat, we knew we was going out of the FA Cup
Yeah.
because of the record that they have against us. So Carrott's come in. He's now got one game a week for sure
He's
now.
working basically. He's basically working part time.
Yeah, he's working part time. He's got a week. So he's got the one thing we know. He's got enough time to implement his plan with these
Mhm.
players because it's one game a week. That's it. Obviously, we're doing the one game a week beforehand because we got kicked out the League Cup in September, and now we definitely got one game a week because we're out of the FA Cup. So there will be no silverware at Manchester United this season. No trophies for Manchester United this season. Um, but ST, first off, let's get the thoughts. Obviously, you and I both said in United Therapy that we would take out of Ollie and Carrick, we would take Carrick for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, Ollie, we've been there and done that, and we don't need it again. It was probably the worst period of time for us as Manchester United fans. And I know it's been a very bad period of time since Fergie retired for us. But I think because of the longevity of how long he was here for, I think it was the worst time for us. We still haven't forgiven Ollie for what he put us through. I know a lot of the Ollie inners will say, well, we finished second and we finished third and we got to a final, blah, blah. It was terrible. It was dire football. But obviously, he was the man that was touted of maybe
Yeah.
coming back. But they gave it to Michael Carrick, which was the right decision because Ollie would have never worked out. Too much water under the bridge, too much hatred as well. And there was a reason why he was sacked in the first place. So there's no point. Whereas when Carrick took over after him, it was just for a short stint where he went undefeated, my ad. But now he's got it for a longer term. Also, I do believe that basically when it came to the contracts, Ollie was basically saying that if he got us Champions League football, that he wanted to stay on and be the manager permanently. And Wilcox and Barada basically told him to fuck off. It's not happening. We've been there and done that, and Carrick didn't have that. Um, so ST, now it's set in stone. How are you feeling about the Carrick appointment? What is it that you're expecting from this? We are under the impression that no matter what happens, this is till the end of the season and that's it. It doesn't matter if he goes unbeaten for the rest of the season. It doesn't matter if a miracle, a cow jumps over the moon, he wins all his games and somehow he win the Premier League title. He will not be here after the end of the season. So how are you feeling about it? What are you expecting?
Mhm.
And what is it that you want from Michael Carrick till the end of the season?
To be honest, as you correctly said, I do think that Michael Carrick was probably the right person for this job at the moment in terms of interim. He knows the club well. Um, I have watched a little bits of him at Middlesbrough and his teams that he was playing. They do play some good football. So I want him to bring that back. He plays a 4-2-3-1 system, which is suited to the players that we have. It's to the end of the season. I'm very happy about that because as much as I respect Michael Carrick as a player, he's obviously done his apprenticeship as a manager, which is very important. I do think that it's right to stabilize the club before you find the right man. So it gives Man United time to find the right person. and the fight to provide him with the right structure. I'm just hoping Michael Carrick will bring some of the football that he played at Middlesbrough, which is really good attacking football, but conservative when they needed to. So it was quite a balance. And hopefully he brings that to Man United. He has better players than he had at Middlesbrough. So I'm just looking forward to that. Yeah, I think it's the right move. I think Man United were being prudent instead of just. It didn't make sense, especially during the January transfer window and the middle of the season, to appoint a permanent manager because obviously we made the same mistake with Amrin, who just
Mm-hmm.
left. Even though he didn't get it right, there is the argument that he didn't have time to get his players or get all his players or build his structure
Mm-hmm.
and get his players within the summer season. He wanted to start fresh, and I do agree with that because he had to start the ground up running. Whereas I think Carrick, as well as he knows he's an interim manager, he's having players that he's never managed before who are better than him. Well, tell her like, sorry, he managed before for about a couple of games and he did well before, but at the same time, I'm really happy with this. I'm happy that Man United are, in this sense, thinking smartly, not just rushing. They've appointed him. He knows his job, and I'm just looking forward for him to be playing really good attacking football. That's what I would like to see, and getting a few wins under our belt, and hopefully we can get European football this season, especially top four. So
No, 100%. I agree that it was the right appointment, obviously from what was out there, because basically it was Fletcher, Ollie, or Carrick. Um, so Carrick coming in was the right decision. Obviously, I didn't really watch Middlesbrough, but in the research that I've done, you're right about the 4-2-3-1. He's all of his. I think the main thing that came from me is he likes to control football matches. He likes his midfield to control the games. He is flexible. I think he played a three at the back at Middlesbrough. He played a 4-2-3-1. I think at one point. I think when he was at United, he did a split striker. He played 4-3-1-2 here. Can't remember who it was against. As well as a 4-2-3-1. So there is some flexibility, even though I think that towards the end of his time at Middlesbrough, I think that was the criticism that he wasn't flexible enough. But he has shown that he can use various systems dependent on the opponent. And I think that's the biggest thing that we need at Manchester United, because Amarim was just stuck in his way and like you can always have a philosophy in the system, but when you know that the other team has way better players than you and their system works way better than you can't go and then play the same. You have to be adaptable. So, for example, obviously taking as a prime example, the away game at City, where we went there and played the three at the back and we got torn to pieces. You have to know your audience and understand that, all right, cool, we can park this for now and do something different because we know that this team is better than us. And I think that's what Carrick will bring. I hope that he tries to. This is the thing. I hope with this now, knowing that it's interim, he's got 6 months and then he's done. I hope he does it. He then does it his way and doesn't go into his shell, because I think what Carrick's going to find very, very quickly is that he's got some good players, but these players as a team are horrible. And I think that's what he's going to find. He's going to find it difficult, especially with the players that he's got, to get that control in the midfield. Because since Louis van Gaal, we haven't controlled football matches. We're not a team that controls football matches. You're not going to see us do when we went away to Anfield with Van Gaal and we dominated the football. We're not going to see that. So he's got to find that balance, and I hope that he does. I mean, in Middlesbrough, 136 games, 63 wins, 49 losses, 24 draws. I know when he took over at Middlesbrough, they were near the relegation zone, and he got them into the playoffs, and unfortunately lost Coventry. And in the second and third season, they never got back in the playoff positions. So it is shown that in a short period of time, he can get teams to jump up. What his time at Middlesbrough tells me is that we've done the right thing, because for a short stint, he can get teams to go up. I know it's at championship level, Premier League's a different level, but it shows that he can get a team that is struggling, which we are, and gets them to perform so they can get an upward trajectory. What it's shown also at Middlesbrough, which is good for us because he's not doing this long term, is that when he gets the full seasons, it doesn't quite go that way. And obviously, as you said, it's his apprenticeship. He's never been anywhere else. So it's completely understandable. But he's taken over Manchester United side, seventh in the table. We are 3 points off Liverpool in fourth. And it's one of them ones, ST, that he has said in his interview, an improvement is improving the players, getting European football. What's your expectation? What do you think that he can achieve with this group of players? Is Champions League football realistic? When I say that, I don't mean, I know on paper right now it's realistic because we're 3 points off top four. But with this team, with an inexperienced manager at Premier League level, and these players that we know, a lot of them aren't good enough, is Champions League realistic with this manager? Or is it a case of any European football will do?
I think it's a bit of a mixture of both. If I'm being very honest, as bad as and as inconsistent as we don't know what this manager can do, top four is up for grabs. We have to aim for it. It's still there. And it's as bad as, not because Man United are very good, it's just that the league is horrible. Like, nobody really is putting a consistent amount of games apart from the top three, Aston Villa, Man City. And even Man City are not that consistent.
Wobble, yep.
And as you previously said, that the defense is weak. But at the same time, all the other teams are just as vulnerable as we are. So if Man United or if Carrick can get the players playing, and I do think we do get onto these players, but there are some talented players there.
Yeah, there are.
Very talented players, let's be honest. They're not as bad as they're being made to look. Top four is possible, but even if we don't get top four, I do with this team expect European football at least.
Yeah.
Europa League minimum, to be honest. I don't expect. I think we'll do better than I don't think we'll get to the Conference League personally. I think we'll be above it, but I'd say Europa League minimum for me now, just because the league is so bad.
Yes, the league is so bad. A. B. We're still in and around it, as you said. C. Currently, Brentford are in fifth place.
Yes.
So that tells us everything we need to know about, which basically supports your argument, how the league is so weak. We've got a Brentford side that lost two of their best players, have an even more inexperienced manager than the one that we have right now. And they are currently sitting in fifth place. No one's saying that that's where they're going to finish, but that is what the table looks like right now. So stringing a couple of wins together, and then all of a sudden, the league table looks completely different. And that's the nature of what this league is. And the final thing is what I said in the beginning, one game a week. You haven't got a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night to worry about. When FA Cup weekends come along, even more time on the training ground to prepare for teams. So I don't see why this team cannot get Europa League football. My skepticism about Champions League football is as bad as Liverpool are, they're still a better team than us.
Hmm.
So that's why. And obviously, I don't know if we're still going to get that fifth place
The coefficients,
Champions
I'm
League
unsure.
football. I'm not sure. Obviously, by the time we get to March, April, we'll have a clearer idea of that. And then that kind of changes the dynamic of everything if we get that again.
Yeah,
But right now,
yeah,
we're focusing on the top four, and that's why I don't think we'll
yeah.
get there. But we'll have to see. But ST, one of the biggest conundrums that Carrick is going to have, obviously, now that Embuemo and Ahmad are back from Afcon, respectively, how are these players going to fit into this team, especially with the once a week? So we're gonna have someone's gonna be unhappy because when you think about ST, obviously Lamens is guaranteed in goal. At this moment in time, obviously, because Mazraoui is still out with Morocco for the next 2 weeks, two games at least, Dallow's going to be the number one right back, which is annoying, but it is what it is. Left back, you're now probably looking at Luke Shaw having that. Like us playing Luke Shaw in 2026 is crazy.
Especially at left back.
But he's been consistent this season. That's the only thing I will say.
Sorry, on Luke Shaw, by the way, and this is what kind of frustrates me, and I think I've mentioned it so many times on this pod. It's not his ability that frustrates me. He is a technically pretty decent footballer. I have to be honest. He can play football to a high level. Remember, he was touted as one of the next best things from
Yeah,
Southampton to Man
from
United,
Southampton.
and he was technically a very good footballer. I'm not, and I don't deny that. It's just he's lazy,
Yeah, you see.
and that's what that's and his mentality. It's laziness. That's why I get onto him. It's not because of his ability. It's just that because he's not pushing himself, and the only time when he gets better is if he feels a threat. For example, they're buying another winger. That's what he does. I remember
Yeah,
when Tellers came to Man United.
yeah,
One of the best times Luke Shaw's performing.
yeah. I
But if he
think yeah,
doesn't have pressure, he doesn't perform.
yeah. He chills, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. Obviously, because Dorgu's that lack of consistency, he probably feels that now he's a shoe in the team. Um, and this is the thing because Dorgu is the only specialist player that Amarim ever got. So what happens to him? Because Dorgu playing left back doesn't look great.
No.
It doesn't look great, and I can't see him getting in as a winger. So what happens to Dorgu? Then you're looking at the
Mhm.
centre back situation. Martinez and Harry Maguire in 2026 is
Mhm.
ridiculous, but Euro's not having a good time. Aiden
No.
Heaven's been all right. To be fair, he's probably been our best centre back. Aiden
I
Heaven
would say so.
since he's come in. Um, but having two left-footed centre backs
It's a problem.
isn't ideal. So you got that. If he's going to go with the 4-2-3-1, we obviously know that Cass and Ugarte are going to play. And again, it's like having McTominay and Fred. Like, bro, Ugarte is horrible. But we can't put Kobe in the double pivot because we know he's no good there, which brings us to the number 10 position because we know Fernandes is going to have that, even though, obviously, as we said in the last poddy ST, Carrick dropped him and he
Hmm.
didn't like it. So could we have that same situation? Then you've got, obviously, Ahmad and Mbuemo, who've been playing in the same team because we've been playing wing backs. Now we're going for a 4-2-3-1. They both can't play because putting one of those two on the left wing, they don't want to be there. So that's a conundrum.
You've got Cunha.
Con is the biggest conundrum for me. And
Yes,
ST,
because he.
you and I have both spoken about him and the fact that he just doesn't release the ball when he's supposed to. But
Yes,
here's my thing, ST. Cunha needs to play in the 10.
I agree.
Cunha needs to play in the 10,
That's what
but
he's best.
which is his best position. But
But he's not going to play over Bruno.
he's not going to play over Bruno, A. And B, if he plays in the 10, um, Bruno is either on the bench or playing in the double
in the
pivot,
pivot.
it still causes a problem of where do you put Kobe Mainu?
Yes.
So, as much as we both agree that Cunha needs to play in the 10, I want Kobe in this team. But we're not going to play a 6 and 2 8s.
Yes.
We're just not. And if you look at Carrick's record, the one of the things that he got right, massively right, is with Akpom, turning him from a striker to a number 10, and then man was
10. Yeah.
banging goals for fun.
Because because Axel is technically very good, and he knew that.
And he lost him. He lost him
To Ajax.
to Ajax. And then Morgan Rogers was good. And then he
Yep.
lost him to Aston Villa. So the one thing we know about Carrick is that he loves number 10s. So playing Cunha in the 10 will be brilliant, but we know it will cause a problem for Kobe because he won't get in the team. And we know then if Cunha's going to be playing in the 10, it means Bruno's going to be in a double pivot. And we don't want Bruno anywhere near the double pivot. If Bruno's going to be in this team, he has to be in the 10. Him being in a double pivot is just a liability. So it's all these conundrums. And how you solve these conundrums before ST is because we had Europe. It's because we had FA Cup games. So you could rotate. Now we ain't got that. So he's got to keep all these guys happy. Now we know what's most likely to happen. Cunha will stay out on the left. Bruno will stay in the 10. There's a possibility that Kobe will have to come in the double pivot. Probably not for the next 2 games, but after that, and then he'll have to choose between Ahmad and Mbeumo who starts on the right.
Which is crazy.
Which is nuts. So he's got these little things where he's got to kind of make the decision of what he thinks is best for this team.
Plus he's got a Mbeumo. Like, it's gonna get to a point where I reckon, because he did like the split strikers as well at times.
Yeah,
he might not even play Xerxes or Sesko.
Yeah,
he might play one. He might play one or Ahmad and Mbeumo up front.
He might play the 4-3-1-2 system where split strikers within Mbeumo and Cunha, Bruno in the 10, and then play Kobe
or Ahmad that wide or something.
Something like that. So there is the flexibility, but the problem is ST is we ain't got the games. So some of these players are going to be upset. And obviously, what you want is for the players, if something happens because there's injuries and whatnot, you want these players to come in and do their best. But these are the little things that Carrick, and this is where we're going to see his man management skills, because you've got to try and keep these players happy, especially in a World Cup year where everybody wants to be playing. So it's going to be interesting for him how he manages these players, ST. But listen. His next 5 games before the international break. The Manchester Derby, Arsenal away, Fulham at home, Spurs at home, West Ham away. Now, if I looked at these games under Amorim, I say we're getting 0 points from any of those games. So Carrick's got a lot to try and prove. And obviously it starts with the Manchester Derby. And it's a funny situation, ST, because look, not talking speaking because we're nowhere. I think how many points are we behind City? I think it's something stupid. I think we're 11 points behind City and Aston Villa or something like that. But City can't afford to drop any more points.
No, they can't.
They're 6 points off of Arsenal right now. Obviously, the only reason being is because Arsenal obviously drawing with Liverpool after City drew with Brighton at home, coming off drawing with Chelsea as well. So City can't afford to drop any more points. But ST, obviously in the news we saw that Mark Gay is almost done. Luckily for us, he won't be registered in time to play against us. So they've got a situation where they've got a little bit of problem. There's no Guardiola, there's no Ruben Diaz, there's no John Stones. That's 3 of their main centre-backs. Akanji's on loan at Inter. So,
and he's doing very well there.
So you're looking at it, and it's Ake and Kuzmanov or whatever his name is. In terms of playing City, in terms of the defense, there's no better time. There's no better time to play City with the defense. I understand, obviously, their strike force and their midfield is absolutely fine. Rodri's back and he's playing. Obviously, Haaland, Foden, they're all fit. Obviously, Semenyo's come in, scored 2 goals in two games. But in terms of defensively, there isn't a better time to play Manchester City, and I think he has to play Sesko or Xerxes, whichever one. I think Sesko because he scored goals recently. Against those two. If Sesko, don't get me wrong, I think Ake is a very, very good. I think he's a very good defender. But if Sesko can't get goals against these two, they're serious. We had question marks already, but then there's serious question marks because you were never going to get any change out of Guardiola, Ruben Diaz, or John Stones. So for you to come up against these two, you should be thinking to yourself, I'm in with a chance here. Obviously, as I said, ST, from the other end of the pitch is where we're going to have problems. I saw something, a lot of people are talking about skulls and butts saying Martinez against Haaland. Like, I'm like, what? Like, bro, like, do you know how many goals we've conceded with Martinez against Haaland? Scored 8 goals in 6 games against us.
What they were saying is that they don't rate Martinez. It's completely opposite. They're saying that Martinez is Haaland's gonna chew him up and lift him up. They think that Martinez will be a liability in game. And to be honest, since he's come back for his injury, and I've always liked Martinez as a defender, he is a bit vulnerable at the moment. He hasn't been great since.
No, he hasn't. He looked his best when he came on in midfield.
Midfield, yes, he has. Yeah. So that's what they were saying. So it's hilarious.
ST, I'd prefer him and Cass as the two rather than Ugarte. So that could be a thing. Because as we just said, Aiden Heaven's probably been our best centre back before De Ligt got injured.
Yes.
So if it's Maguire and Aiden Heaven, like, don't get me wrong, the only thing I would say, the inexperience of Heaven against Haaland. But to be honest, we're watching Martinez have shockers against people that aren't Haaland, like Danny Welbeck's of this world, and even the Burnley guy. Like,
disrespect Danny Welbeck. He's on.
Now, Welbeck's talking about. What I'm saying is,
but I hear what you're saying.
They're not Haaland, innit?
No.
So I get the inexperience of having against Haaland, but I don't think you can do any worse and put Martinez and Cass, because at least then we know. Don't be wrong. We know Cass, but then Cass can solely. Do you know what I mean? And obviously Martinez, we know one of the things we know that Martinez
is good at football.
That ability to pass the ball through the lines. So that's an option as well. But yeah, we know from the attacking side for City, Haaland's got 8 and 6. He scored two against us at the Etihad. Phil Foden loves scoring against us. Semenyo's already scored against us at Old Trafford.
He scores every time against us. Every time he's played against us, he scored.
Yeah. So Doku pissed all over us at the Etihad, and that's when Pep did the whole thing of, because Doku didn't stay out wide. Doku was literally doing the interchange and was all over the pitch, because if you remember, he duppied Phil Foden. He duppied Luke Shaw for the first goal when he crossed it into to Foden. Then he did I think he did Lenny Yoro to play it through to Haaland as well. Like, I think he got man of the match that game, even though Haaland scored 2.
No, but he deserved it. He was.
Yeah, he was brilliant. So we've got to. So we can't be surprised when we know the front three is going to probably be Doku, Haaland, and Semenyo with Foden, with Foden, Bernardo Silva and Rodri, or you know what I mean? That's probably going to be their front 6, which is formidable for us, because when we look at our back 4, Dallo against Doku, don't really want to see it, but we haven't got a choice. Luke Shaw against Semenyo, don't really want to see it, but what choice do we have? The other choice is Dorgu. Obviously, Haaland against any of our centre backs, don't really want to see it.
Mhm.
Who's gonna get the ball off Rodri? That midfield battle is gonna be important. Who's gonna pick up with Phil Foden? Which is why I said we're better probably playing Martinez
Mhm.
in the double pivot rather than playing Agate. So all these things that we've got to worry about. But if we can sit in, have the two banks, and then play Embuemo, play Cunha, play Sesko, try him hitting on the break, we there's possibilities. I think what was it? For the last 5 games we've had against City, it's 2 wins, draws, and 2 losses in all competitions. So it's not like it's all
Mhm.
loss for us. I
Mhm.
think the difference is in the league. We've only won 3 in the last 10. We've won
Mhm.
3 in the last 10. We've won 3, lost 6, and drawn 1, and that's where the difference is.
Mm.
So it's going to be a very, very difficult game, compounded by the fact that City can't afford to drop any more points, or else you
Yes.
pretty much say, because I think Arsenal play Forest in the late game, and if City were to lose against us, that then points it to 9 points, and you basically say the title race is over. So we have an opportunity because we got to think about ourselves. As much as I know, ST, you got the hatred for Arsenal. We have to think about
Mhm.
ourselves. And with, I think Liverpool, I can't remember who Liverpool are playing, but I don't think it's a difficult game. And then Chelsea got the West London derby against Brentford.
Brentford, yeah.
So we have an opportunity for at least one of the two teams around us. Well, look at this. Chelsea are playing Brentford. So if we can get a draw in that and then Liverpool drop points against whoever they're playing, we're then in the driving seat. So we've got opportunity to try and win this game. Well, we'll get there, but it's a baptism of fire for Carrick in his first game in charge.
Mhm.
You couldn't have 2 more difficult games. Obviously, next week we'll talk more in depth about the Arsenal game. But it's the 2 most difficult games that he could have in the Premier League. But you have to see it as an opportunity to try and get something.
Mhm.
Is there an expectation that he's going to get anything from these next 2 games?
No. No.
What I would say about the City game
It's
is
it's big.
because they had the 3 draws. Obviously, I know they beat Newcastle in the League Cup,
Yeah.
but because of the 3 draws, you, if we could steal a draw, I think that people will be happy with that.
Mhm.
Um, but ST, how do you think this game is going to go? What's your prediction?
I actually, you know what? I'm gonna be hopeful. SD 1-1 draw. A
You're good, boy.
1-1 draw. Huh?
You're good, boy. Nah, bro.
Boy,
I think we're going to get
I
beat
know
3-1.
that's fair enough, but I don't know. For some reason, yeah. And I hope I'm right.
So
If
do
I'm, if
I.
I'm wrong, I
So
hope
do
I'm
I.
right, yeah. For some reason, yeah, it's I know Haaland scores a lot of goals in Semenyo and they can piss all over us, but bro, their defense is so gettable. I know our defense is gettable, but it's I don't know. It's just like I think we might get a point. It's weird. I don't know why I think that. I hope I'm right.
The
But
good
if I'm
the
wrong, you can clown me. I don't
the,
really care.
the good thing is Sesko's been scoring
Yes.
2 against Burnley, and he got 1 against Brighton in the FA Cup, albeit consolation. So he's got 3 and 2. So at least he's been getting goals. Cunha had been scoring before that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Buemo,
And
he's been
Birmingham
a,
was scoring, but then his form
yeah,
wasn't
it's
was
been
bad.
he's been
Yeah.
indifferent. He
Yeah.
hasn't done it. So we just gotta hope. We just gotta
Yeah.
be hopeful. I think that's the only thing we can do, ST, and see what happens in this Manchester derby. But obviously, you're going with a 1-1. I think we're going to lose 3-1. I can't see Pep letting. his team not win this game, and I think Haaland's going to be a bang on it for it. But
I
we'll
think
see what
Haaland will
happens.
score.
But I hope that
Yeah.
Carrick pulls something out the bag and shows us something
Mhm.
different and shows us something that we can get behind, and that is the main that is the main thing. ST and people, as we say, we are still Glazers out. We are still Ineos out. We still do not trust Ineos and any of the shit that they're doing. Um, but we'll see what happens in the Manchester derby. But ST, let's move on to the other mad news that we got, bruv. We said it. We said that big teams do not put up with mediocrity, but there's big teams not putting up with mediocrity, and there's big teams doing foolishness, and that is what Real Madrid have done this past week. Obviously, they had the Super Copa um, final this past Sunday,
Mhm.
lost 3-2 to Barcelona. It was a game and a half as well. A brilliant game of
Yeah.
football. Lost that and then said, do you know what? This is the final straw. Xabi Alonso, you're out. And I was just like, what the hell? Now, you and I both said it on the last poddy that even with this guy, after what he did in the Bundesliga with Bayern Leverkusen, that he's on the verge of being sacked. I think he was on the verge of being sacked in December. This guy lost, all right, fair enough. He lost Super Cuppa, but 4 points off um, Barca in the
Barcelona.
league. He's
Still
still
in
in
the
the top
Champions.
eight, still in automatic qualifying places in the Champions League, and they still sacked him. His record was 24 wins, 4 draws, 6 losses,
70 some 1%.
71% win ratio.
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
league, it was 14 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses, and they sacked him. ST, what the hell, bruv? Because
So
we
I'm gonna
would
do it.
we would bite someone's hand off for that sort of record with a manager.
Oh God, so I've really been reading about this and seeing Real Madrid play. So yeah, as you know, Real Madrid is a player-friendly power club.
Mhm.
So if the players are happy, they're happy. So that's how they've worked the model. The issue is with Xabi Alonso, when he first came in, he wanted to implement his wing-back systems of the 3-5-2, which doesn't suit the ethos of Real Madrid.
Mm.
So that's why if you've watched Real Madrid in general, yes, they've been winning games, but to the standards of what Real Madrid are doing,
Yeah, no, they've been
they
awful,
haven't
bruv. They've been
they
scraping
haven't been
games.
yeah, they've been scraping games, they haven't been great. So that's where and you know how Real Madrid fans are. They're seeing that they're criticizing the manager and stuff like that. There were also times where Real Madrid had the opportunity to pull away from Barcelona because Barcelona themselves haven't been this great this season.
Mm.
So, but my Real Madrid have bottled a lot of things as well. Also, with these new age managers like Xabi Alonso, what Xabi Alonso wanted it to be is where the coach takes control. So he wanted to change the way they play. What he wanted the players to do. For example, I was reading that he wanted the players to run more, which is what a
Oh
lot of managers,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, which is what a lot of managers do. However, when you have players like Mbappe, Vinicius, they're talented players, but when you don't want them to do the running models, for example, similar to what Luis Enrique had with Mbappe and stuff like that, they don't want he doesn't like running back. He likes to be up front and then score the goals. However, it's to the detriment of his system and to the team. But also, he's also, to be fair, and I'm going to criticize Jabi Alonso for this as well, very prudent, and a lot of these day age managers they don't want to change their system,
Mm.
so they're not looking to accommodate the players that they have. A bit similar to what Man United have, but on a bigger scale.
Mm.
And he wasn't willing to budge. And obviously, he had very bad relations with the president because he's trying to control everything, and he wasn't happy. And there were rumblings of Javi Alonso getting sacked before due to his poor performances before the
Mm.
start of the year. So it doesn't surprise me that he's got sacked, even with a on paper a decent record. But if you if you delve into actual Real Madrid's actual performances, they've not been good enough. He's not when it's been going bad for him. He's not willing to change. Also, one more thing as well. Where he really was done is when in one of the games, um, Vinicius was exhausted and tired. He took Vinicius off, and then Vinicius did a whole strop. Went to the
Yeah,
changing room, was angry,
and he didn't discipline him.
and he didn't discipline him. The next game, he brings him. He plays him. Probably not due to what Xavi wanted to do. I reckon that Florentino Perez must have had a word with him and said, "Listen, he's going in the team," and that's where the power struggle happens. So as for Xabi Alonso, he was used to the power struggle at not power struggle, but he had ultimate power and control over at Bayer Leverkusen. But the sporting directors just helped him with players and stuff like that. But ultimately, he had the final say. So he's used to that model. Unfortunately, with players like these are even more egos. So you can't have a manager like Javi who was never going to succeed in the first place. You need managers like Ancelotti and Zidane who will not necessarily coaches, but they'll just like basically boost their egos, like rub their
They were man managers.
man managers. Yes, exactly. However, the issue is now because of the standards that we're in, there's not many of them about.
Mm.
And even though I do criticize a lot of the new age managers, a lot of the players that Real Madrid have are not with the times of the current footballing system that we have. Apart from probably someone like Arda Güler, someone who's technical like that, and a few other players. But
Mm.
because they're still in that Galactico era, and they still be man managers, they're never gonna Real Madrid are never gonna be back to where they were unless they find a man manager. But the issue is man managers nowadays are few and very far in between. You can recycle Ancelotti, but Ancelotti wasn't doing well towards the end. You've
Mm-hmm.
got Zidane, but we all think Zidane's going to go for the France job after
Yep.
Deschamps.
100%.
So who's left? Wenger. Wenger's not going to come out of retirement. Ferguson's not going to come out of retirement. He's an old man.
Well, this is it, ST.
Yeah,
As you said, there's a lot
yeah,
obviously to unpack there.
yes.
And the biggest thing for me with Xabi Alonso is that yes, there wasn't a willingness to adapt. You can't go to Real Madrid and want to play three at the back. It's never
Mm-hmm.
going to happen. It's never going to happen, and you should know that. And I think as much as he would have wanted to, I think he would have understood that he couldn't do that. I think where Xabi Alonso went wrong was three things. The first thing, brother, at what planet do you think that Mbappe and Vinicius are going to do all that running? They're not going to do it. And you should have known that.
Mm-hmm.
You should have known that from watching what happened with Mbappe at PSG.
Mm-hmm.
You should have known that from what you've seen previously with Vinicius Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you like these are the things that you should have known. So you trying to implement the high press or the tracking back, you should have known that wasn't going to work. You should have known that these players aren't going to have it. And Xabi Alonso was at Real Madrid. So he would have known that it's a player
That's
power,
exactly. I was
it's
about
a,
to make
it's,
that
it's,
point.
it's a player
He's well
power
aware.
club because you were there. You know what Florentino Perez is like. It's all about the
Mm-hmm.
Galacticos. It's all about the players. Florentino Perez will get rid of any manager. He doesn't care. Like he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
really like managers. The only manager he ever liked was Jose Mourinho, because of this. They had a similar mentality.
No, you say
So
that he got sacked.
and even he got sacked. Do you know what I mean? So
The really manager that he probably liked the most, the two managers was Zidane and Ancelotti. Zidane because he was there, but
yeah,
Zidane never got sacked. Zidane walked
because
because
Zidane understood that his time was done, and
yeah,
obviously
and,
Ancelotti
and
knew that as well.
yeah. So that's the reason. Those two guys, Dan was also a fantastic player at Real Madrid. So
Hmm.
he's got ultimate respect. Ancelotti, serious manager.
Yeah.
But Xabi Alonso, that's another point I was going to make as well, and I completely forgot. Thank you for making the point. You've played at Real Madrid. You are a good player at Real Madrid. You won things at Real Madrid. So you know what Real Madrid happened. So you
Hmm.
know what the club's about. You've known this for a long time. you are very naive to think that you, as a small manager, let's be honest, as good as you did with Bayer Leverkusen and you did pretty decent with Sociedad, you're still a small manager.
Yep.
You haven't won the big European trophies. For you to come into Real Madrid and thinking that you're going to change, even Zidane and Ancelotti knew that they can't change Madrid. It's a system run on player power. It's run on Galacticos. That's their philosophy. That's
Yeah,
always going to be their philosophy. So
it's based on individuals. So
yeah,
you trying to make a team out of these players isn't going to work. It's not how they
yes,
operate. And obviously that was shown with Vinicius Junior's reaction when he got subbed, throwing his toys out the pram. And then obviously Florentino Perez probably said to you, you ain't leaving him out of the next game, which he should have been done. He should have been fined and left out because you can't do
yeah,
that. You've lost the dressing room then because they understand that you haven't got any power. And then the whole thing in Super Copper with the guard of honor, you were trying to do it. Mbappe said, "Now, bun that. Everyone back in the changing room." And all the man then went back in the changing room, and you had to as well. And it's like you; those are the two most famous players, the two biggest players at your thing, basically undermining you as a manager. You had no chance then. Do I agree with it? No, I don't. I think it's
no,
absolutely ridiculous
I
in
agree.
what these players are doing because this is a manager that hasn't done you no wrong. He hasn't had time to do you any wrong. You could, oh yes, there are games where you're looking at and you're like, bro, you're scraping by and whatnot. But give him the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, because and the thing is, this is what I say, ST. There's winning things and there's winning things. Ten Hag won the Dutch league. Is it great? Not really. No.
Mm.
Amorim won the Portuguese league. Is it, bro? This is a guy at Bayer Leverkusen who had never won a Bundesliga title that went up against the juggernaut that is Bayern Munich and stopped
And
their
went
record
unbeaten.
and went invincible, unbeaten, only losing the final in Europa League, as we've said. And not only that, they also beat out Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig. These are teams that have won it before. So the achievement that he made in probably the third biggest league in all the leagues is no mean feat. Do you know what I mean?
No,
And the fact that he's done all this and the level of disrespect that these players gave to him is just proving the fact that, bro, you were never gonna. Bro, why is that gone? What's that flash about? Oh, sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, you were never gonna succeed there, and I think that when you look at Madrid, because I think some of the reasons they said that they got rid of him is that the players didn't buy into the philosophy and the fitness
mm.
thing. Because you heard the thing about the coach Pintus. Pintus, is that his name or something like that?
Yes,
Basically, they wanted Pintus, and Xabi Alonso was like, "Nah, I want to bring my own stuff in." So from the beginning, Florentino's Perez wasn't happy.
undermine him. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Florentino Perez wasn't happy because you didn't want to use his guy. You wanted to use your own. So it was all looked like it was going to fail. And it's a situation where I think it's good for Xabi Alonso that it happened so quickly because I don't think his stock has been affected. I think in the summer there's going
no,
to be plenty of teams that are still going to look at him and want him and not talking about small jobs, I'm talking about big jobs. So I think it was good in that sense. And then what it was compounded by is the fact that they got rid of him, bringing in an inexperienced guy in Arbeloa, who'd obviously been at
and now they're
Madrid as
out.
well. And
And
now
now
they're
they're out
out
of the
of
company.
the Copa del Rey because they got
To
beat by who was
Albacete,
it? Albacete,
Albacete,
who are like
3-2.
17th in the Segunda. So
Yeah, it's
do you know
crazy.
what I mean? So like we can sit here and say, and then Real Madrid people will say, "Oh well, we don't really care about this trophy." To be fair, they don't. I think they've won the Copa del Rey like 3 times in the last 20 years or something like that. Something
Yeah,
mad, some mad stat like that. But at the same time, it's one of them ones. Like, all right, cool in it. That Xabi Alonso's gone now. That it's up to you lot. The league is still there. You're still in
yeah.
automatic qualified for the Champions League. But if it does not go well, then we've got to turn around and say, well, yeah, maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was these players with the big egos. And
And yeah, I was gonna go blame the players as well, yeah, because you know me, I'm very empathetic. I was a player. I know how managers can be. Usually, I'm player FC with a lot of things. However, I'm not immune to players taking criticism. These players, even though Javi Alonso should have understood where he was, what sort of environment he was going into, Vinicius should never be doing that, undermining his manager.
No,
Mbappe, none of these players undermine. I don't care who you are, just because you think that you're bigger than the manager, you've won so many things. Let's be real. Xabi Alonso's won the Champions League. Mbappe, you haven't won the Champions League. I don't care what you're saying.
bro, it's
Like,
mad to think that. It's mad to think that. Obviously, I saw the stat about this is the 10th manager that's been sacked under
yeah, it's
Mbappe.
crazy.
Like 10
Yeah,
managers in 10 seasons. Like, bro, at what point are we gonna say that this
start
guy is
blaming him.
a problem? You've come
He
into
is,
Real Madrid, and as an individual, your stats are great. Your stats are great as an individual, but
but it's
what have you
taken away
won?
from the team, and it's
What
taken
have you
away from the
won?
team.
Because since you've come, you've looked great. Vinicius has looked worse. Bellingham has looked worse. Valverde's looked worse. Rodrigo's looked worse. So it's great for you, but your teammates have all looked worse. And I think ST, that's the other thing that got Xabi Alonso the sack. Vinicius stopped contract talks. Rodrigo was looking to get out.
Yeah,
Obviously, Endrick's gone out on loan. Valverde wasn't happy. But it was very funny with Valverde because under Ancelotti, he never said anything when he was playing right back. But now that he was playing right back under Xabi Alonso, he had something to say about it, which makes absolutely no sense. So there was a lot of things going on with players and the common denominator comes back to the players. But my whole thing is that now that he's gone, don't be trying to say this is on our below if you lot don't win anything. This is on you
no,
lot
it's
now.
not. It's on you
You
lot. Yeah,
created this, so therefore go out and do the
you have to
business.
get
You're
get
gonna have
out.
to try and win the league or the Champions League, or else people are gonna be looking at you and thinking to yourself like, really? Okay, because this will
They
be the
ain't winning
second.
anything
This
this
will be
season.
the second season that you've won nothing.
They ain't winning anything this
Second
season.
season that you've
Other
won
than
nothing. The second
yeah,
season that Mbappe's come and you've won nothing. After Mbappe left PSG and PSG went and won the Champions League. So let's just
exactly.
put that out there. So
It's
we're
not a
looking at a
coincidence.
cursed man right there. So it's going to be interesting times at Real Madrid, bro. But we'll see what happens. Quickly, ST, before we wrap up, obviously Afcon final is coming up, as we said earlier on. Morocco versus Senegal. It's the final that we predicted
Hmm.
in the preview. Obviously, my boys Ivory Coast let me
You know
down.
what? You know what it is, yeah. Against Egypt, you lot were dominating the possession, had the ball, but at the same time, you lot weren't clinical enough with your chances.
No,
Egypt had
bro,
chances.
they were so anti-football, bro. But
Yeah,
my
it
whole
was
thing is that we do the same. Anytime we play Egypt in these major competitions,
mental block.
it's the
Mental
mental
block.
block. We just end up losing. We shouldn't have from minute one when we gave the ball away, let Mamou score straight away. Then we conceded from a corner, and then Mo Salah scored. Like it was just so frustrating,
Hmm.
so frustrating, bro. Because I'm not saying that we would have beat Senegal, but we should have beat Egypt. There was
Yeah,
nothing
Egypt are there
about
for the
Egypt
taking.
that said like, and we conceded 3 goals. Like it was dumb, bro. But luckily, Sadio Mane did the business, as you said, proving why he was the best Liverpool player at the time
Best, yeah.
when he was there and kicked Mo Salah out of the Afcon.
Shout out
So
Firmino as well, yeah.
I'm telling you, kick Mo Salah out of Afcon, bro. So this will be 0 Afcons that Mo Salah will win. Imagine Egypt was serial win, bro. It's like, bro. So basically, Egypt were the Man United Afcon. They were winning everything. Then Mo Salah came along, and then they win nothing, bro. He is the curse. He has turned Mo Salah into what United are right now, bro. Bro, not winning anything. He is the
Yeah, it's
sole
beautiful.
reason why they haven't won anything. And then these people have the audacity to put him in conversations that he doesn't need to be in. The pyramid pennant, this guy, bro, there's a reason why Jamie Carragher said he's not won an AFCON and he's never going to win an AFCON, bro. Your country were serial winners of AFCON. This guy
7
came
times.
along and messed it all up, and they haven't won it since he's been playing. Bro, take this guy out of these conversations with the Didier Drogba's, the Samuel Eto'os, the Yaya Toures. He doesn't belong in them, bro. Doesn't belong in them, bro. I'm telling you. But Senegal did the business. Sadio Mane um, kicking Egypt out and getting to the final. And then on the other side, bro, as you said, Nigeria out against Morocco.
Oh,
That one went
lovely.
went to penalties. Chukwueze and Bruno getting their penalties, bro. Like,
Hey, you see Chukwueze, yeah? He can never chat to. He has no
bro, you
chat for
could
Bassi
never chat
again
to Bassi again, bro.
because I thought
Like,
Bassi was brilliant, and I think he's probably been the best defender in Afcon.
yeah, yeah. But my whole thing is, yeah, looking at Chukwueze, the both of them, bro. The keeper told them where they were going before they kicked
Mm.
the ball, bro. Because especially Bruno, bro, the keeper had already dived. This guy
Yeah,
still managed to kick it at him, and the
yeah.
keeper got a handout. Like it's just ridiculous, man. But
Shout out Bruno, shout out Bruno, former Sevilla, one of my favorite Sevilla keepers, man.
nah,
Brilliant keeper.
credit to Morocco, man, because at the end of the day,
And
they're the home
they
nation
were
and they're in the final. I don't think they've played spectacularly, but they've done enough to get
they
to.
tried to win. I'll be honest, this match they tried to win against Nigeria. I was
But both
shocked,
teams, both teams, Nigeria and Egypt went there played for penalty. Now,
but I was so bad. Why Nigeria on
Why
Nigeria?
Nigeria play for penalties? I do not know because we
Do
know
you really
black
know
people and penalties, bruv.
black people? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know
The
why
man
they
them
did
and
that.
the man
Like
them and
they
penalties.
had to win it. They had to
Yeah,
win it in extra time at least. And the way how they were playing, like Nigeria played, it looked like they played scared of Morocco. Don't get me wrong, man.
they
Look,
did.
Morocco are a very very good side,
Yeah,
but I expected more from Nigeria in that semi final. But unfortunately, it didn't come to pass. And now we've got Morocco versus Senegal, bro. That
it's not
record,
unfortunate, bro.
bro. I
It's
mean,
not
obviously,
unfortunate.
no, it's unfortunate for Nigerian fans, not unfortunate for everyone else. But now we've got Morocco and Senegal in the final, and Morocco, who have this fantastic unbeaten record. They haven't lost at home since 2009. Was it 32 wins and 5 draws over 16 years? The last loss at home was to Cameroon in 2009. They've
Yeah.
unbeaten the last 23 games. I think they were on like something stupid, like a 19-game win streak or
Mhm.
something like that. So, and in the head-to-heads, they've won 18 times against Senegal. Senegal have only beaten them 6 times. So all the arrows point to a homecoming Morocco win. But we've got to understand, unfortunately, Koulibaly's injured, so he won't be in the final,
Yes.
which is unfortunate for him. But we know for him, and well, we know his last AFCON was in that semi final, unfortunately. But we know for
Mhm.
Mane's already come out and said this is his last AFCON. So
Yeah.
he'll want to go out on a bang. And they've
With
got
a
the
bang.
players Mane, Nicholas Jackson,
Njai. Njai.
Njai,
The
Ismaili
two
Sarr.
Njais. Mbaye of PSG.
Yeah,
Obviously,
bro.
Diarra is suspended. Oh, bro, and we can go on forever. Juve, all these ballers.
Gay, just a gay.
Gay,
Like they've got the
yeah,
talent. That's what we will say. They've got the talent, but Morocco are a solid team, and it's just unfortunate that Koulibaly's not fit
yeah.
because I think a fit Koulibaly in this game
I'm even more confident.
would it would be a game. But ST, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that is the difference. I think that's going to be the difference. Koulibaly being injured, and I think that is the reason why Morocco are going to win. Are going to win this game purely because of the Koulibaly injury. I know they can turn around and say, "Oh, but we've got Sice injured," but they're not the same.
Tyson's
They're
not
not
no.
they're
Tyson hasn't
not
been playing for a long time. Yeah, no.
they're not the same. But I hope Senegal can do it and give Mane the send off that he deserves. Because if he could get 2 AFCON trophies, that would be brilliant for him. But ST, I'm gonna say to you, two
Morocco
one
penalties.
Morocco in
Oh,
extra time.
you know what? Fuck it. Let me pop. Look, my head says Morocco, but I'm going with my heart. Listen, Senegal, man them. West Africa, man them. We need to unite. Unite. Mane, Ndai, Ghana, Nigeria, I don't care. Nigeria, join us. Liberia, Ivory Coast. We need your support. We need to take the trophy back to West Africa and keep it there.
I'm telling
It's
you, bro.
time.
I'm telling you.
It's time.
I hope I'm wrong.
1 0,
I hope I'm
1
wrong.
0, 1-0 Senegal in extra time.
I hope so. I hope so.
I hope you're
I
wrong.
hope.
I think,
that
if
Senegal
I'm
can
being
do
honest,
it.
I think you'll be right if I'm being very honest. I think
Yeah,
it's different from Morocco. I think Hakimi has been so consistent as well.
yeah. Brahim Diaz.
Brahim Diaz, I like Shibari of PSV. He's a good player. And they got a lot of skillful players, but I'm just hoping. But Senegal have skill and strength as well. I'm just hoping.
Yeah,
But
I'm just hoping as well, and
I'm gonna say 1-0 Senegal.
I hope so.
Extra time.
I hope so. I hope so. Senegal, we're supporting you, but
We're here.
we will see what happens. But people, we're going to wrap up there. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know what you think about obviously Michael Carrick's appointment. Do you think it's the right appointment? What are you expecting from Carrick? What can you see for us? Do you think that we're going to make Champions League? Do you think it's going to be Europa League? Do you think that we're not going to make Europe at all? Let us know what you think about the Manchester derby. Do you think we can get anything out of it? Do you think ST is right? Will it be a 1-1 draw? Do you think we can win? Do you think we can somehow get a win in the Manchester derby and basically all but confirm City losing this year's title? Let us know what you think about Real Madrid. Do you think they were right to sack Xabi Alonso? Do you think player power has gone too far? And what are your expectations of Real Madrid now that Xabi Alonso has gone? Do you think that they still can win the league and or the Champions League? And let us know what you think about the Afcon final. Who have you got? Have you got Senegal? Do you think Mane will get the send off that he deserves, or will Morocco do it? The consistency that they've had over the past year, 23 years, obviously not losing at home, winning all those games, being unbeaten in 23 games, showing that they have been the most consistent African team over the past couple of decades. We and obviously they haven't won an Afcon in 50 years. So can they bring it home? They are the host nation. Will they be able to do it for their people? Let us know in the comment section. We want to hear from you. And as usual, before we go, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get the likes up, get the subscriptions up. As I say all the time, share. We are here, and don't forget to join our social media pages as well. Links are in the description. I want to say thank you very much to my guy, ST, as usual. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, bro.
People coming up, obviously, will have the review of Afcon once it takes place. Obviously, we'll also have a review of the Manchester derby and look ahead to the big game next weekend between Arsenal and Manchester United and what that does for the title race. And also boxing talk.
Teofimo
We'll
versus
be back.
yeah.
Tiafimo versus Shakur Stevenson. We'll
Yeah.
definitely be doing that, and we'll be getting
Mm.
Tooth back on here as well. But listen, people, stay safe out there. Be safe, and we shall see you very, very soon. Peace.